The dangerous Trey Benson back to return. Had a 93-yard kickoff return touchdown against D.C. That was Florida State's first since the 2013 National Championship game. '67th all-time meeting is underway. Jordan Travis, Greg, is coming off a career-high 300
at the position to now being an excellent quarterback that can also be dynamic with his legs. He's confident, he has great feel and understanding, and an area of weakness in the past with him was how he would anticipate throws. That's no longer the case. He is outstanding when he's dialed in, and it's very important for him to get off to a good start on the road in a hostile environment.
Gonna give it to Toafili, who's tackled.
Now this is just really well done by Miami's defensive front. I've already told you about Leonard Taylor in the open. He's number 56. He made a great play there. And a good job on the edge as well.
Loss of 5. Travis, shallow cross underneath to the big 6'7" Johnny Wilson, and the Canes right on top of it with Corey Flagg, the linebacker.
This Miami team, it's not what they want it to be, but if not for the defense playing at a high level, things might look very different for the Miami Hurricanes.
Travis on 3rd and 11. A lot of time. Nearly intercepted. That was to Corey down at the 37-yard line.
Interference, defense, automatic first down.
So the penalty saves the Noles. First down, Florida State.
And this is a good call. He arrives just a little bit early, as you can see, trying to work number 87, McDonald, across the middle. And as you can see, number 11, Corey Flagg, arriving just before the ball gets to him. That's a good call by the
officials are going to use a timeout.
Pass interference.
I think they may look to see if that ball was tipped. You could sort of see a strange motion to the ball, and obviously you can't have the PI if that's the case. We're going to take a short break as they look at that.
Jordan Travis has grown as a reader. It to his tight end in the middle of the field against 3 defenders. You can never be late over the middle, but you have to go through your progression, and you had plenty of guys out to the right-hand side flooding the zone that would have resulted in a much better play.
And then as for the ball coming out of his hand, it was not tipped. It just came out of his hand that awkwardly. There was the thought that perhaps 90, Akeem Mesidor, did get a piece of it as you saw the awkward ball flight, but no, that's how it came out of his hand, Greg. Yeah, I let it stand.
It just came. Didn't like, as he was releasing the football, all those orange jerseys that were converging on his intended wide receiver. He got bailed out there, but it'd be a good opportunity for Mike Norvell to talk to his quarterback, calm him down a little bit, maybe get him an easy completion to kind of get his night started to feel good about what they're doing offensively.
Remember, he's coming off that sensational effort against Georgia Tech. His QBR was 80.6. That's the second. So after all that, and after looking at the replay to see if the ball was tipped, we're back to business with a first down, Florida State. Flag is down as Trey Benson will take it ahead out to the 46-yard line. Looks like Taylor may have jumped.
Now, when you're on the road, you have to use your road cadence. That's the clap. This is adjusted. This is a tendency breaker. For Florida State, when they clap, usually the ball's coming immediately.
Offside.
This particular
Defense,
case,
number 56.
Travis claps,
5-yard
the center
penalty,
holds it
first
for a
down.
half second and then snaps it. So Taylor's playing the same rhythm of the cadence that he's always played or that he's seen on tape from Florida State. This is a change. And I've offensive approach. It's just really thoughtful, and there is a good example of it, holding that snap count for just a little bit longer to draw the offsides.
That makes it a 1st and 5. Travis going to go deep, has a man, and in stride, it is Pokey Wilson. Knowles strike first. That's DJ Ivey, and it's a quick 6 for Florida State. What'd you say about Common Jordan? Travis down, giving him something to work with? He just went for it all.
Said easy completion to get your day started. Big post, not exactly that easy. Look, the jet route over the top, and it's well protected there by Florida State's offensive line. Perfect throw from Travis, and an excellent catch from Pokey Wilson on the extension.
Right at you, and right into the hands of Pokey Wilson. The touchdown off the flea flicker. Had the one-handed scoring catch as well. And now he opens up this primetime ABC rivalry game with something special.
Yeah, one of the guys that's been around for a little bit. Much of their receiver core has been transfers. Pokey Wilson's been there and has done a really nice job making an impact this season.
I watched him gingerly warm up on the sidelines. He plans to give it a try, but something to monitor.
There he is, number 74, and he has started every game at left tackle this season. That would put him in a big hole. Remember, Zion Nelson was somebody they were expecting to be a star this year, and that has not happened.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of issues with this Miami offense, but injuries have been something that they've dealt with all throughout. Justice Ola was shown, who was... It's unfortunate they've just never really been at 100% at really any point of the season.
Tyler Van Dyke, TBD, back after missing last week's game at Virginia and swinging it over to Smith. And Smith is able to work his way to the 29. So there is Tyler Van Dyke, the third-year sophomore from Glastonbury, Connecticut. Played prep ball at Suffield Academy.
And if you look at when he's in the lineup, I mean, they've basically said, hey, this is your show, Tyler. We're going to throw it as many times as you need for us.
As that is blocked ahead, it'll be 3rd and short. Let's look at the Chick-fil-A impact players, Greg.
We've referenced injuries for this Miami offense where they get as close to 100% as they've been in a while. Henry Parrish is back at running back. Excellent transfer from Ole Miss. And Restrepo, go-to wide receiver on the outside. He's tremendous. Fabian Lovett, great to have him back in the middle of that Seminoles defense. Then, of course, Jared Verse, the transfer from Albany. What a great story and what a presence he's been on the end of the line of scrimmage all year long for the Noles.
Here's 3rd and transfer from Ole Miss. Of course, last week was just like playing a game in sludge there. They don't have any touchdowns in the last 5 quarters. That trip to Virginia was such an oddity with the 4 field goals and then a 2-point conversion in overtime to win it.
Yeah, a win's a win, though, as I believe they've been saying around the program all week long.
Van Dyke looking to extend his return last week.
And what a weapon he is, just a reliable target. And how about the throw by Van Dyke? Moving to his left, ball comes off his hand. Not great, little wobbly, but still right there on target to his reliable wide receiver, Restrepo.
Ja'Curry Brown, the freshman quarterback, comes in. They have used him in Wildcat formations in 4 games this year. He has speed, he has athleticism. Let's see what he offers up here. As he's back to pass, the freshman Brown's going to go downfield. And a flag.
Holding, defense, number 7. 10-yard penalty, first down.
I'm going to call that on Jones.
As you see, he's working inside there. Jones is the top of the stack, and you see him just pull the back of that jersey of Michael Redding, trying to work the double post concept with the guy that really hasn't been very accurate this year, so a little bit of a tendency breaker.
This is what he typically does. He only gains about a yard that time. A flag is down at the 43. He's played in 4 games, so you come into this situation. There goes the red shirt.
Will be interesting, too, to see how much more he gets as the season goes along, because he is a dynamic player with the ball in his hands.
He was the number 6 dual threat quarterback in the country.
Illegal formation
and then enrolled in the
offense.
spring.
More than 4.
Not quite to the same extent, but Josh Gaddis, of course, winning the Broyles Award last year as the nation's top assistant. And they used a 2-quarterback system with tons of success en route to a playoff berth and a Big Ten championship. So maybe that's their plan, at least here in the early going of his career. Maybe that's the plan for Jacurri Brown.
First and Brown. Going to keep it. And you can see the athleticism. Look at the balance and the big striding of Jacurri Brown at 6'4", 215 pounds. That's what the true freshman can offer.
Really nice decision, too. As you can see, they just get a little bit wide there with Parrish, who's getting the fake handoff to the outside. And Jacurri Brown just hits it right off the tackle, gets to the open field, and makes a big play.
So Brown goes for pressure in his face. Batted at the line of scrimmage as he took a hit. That was Kevin Knowles, defensive back, coming straight in on Tyler Van Dyke.
As you talk to the staff for the Miami offense, they were left and it gets tipped at the line of scrimmage. Good job by Van Dyke getting the ball out quickly, but need to make sure you can try to adjust that protection. Been banged up this year, have had the shoulder issue. You can adjust that protection and protect yourself. You might have an opportunity to hit one of your guys downfield, take advantage of the pressure.
Bounce in and was just tripped up at the last second. And that was Patrick Payton, who just got his shoe.
And this looked like there was about to be a lot of green grass out in front of Parrish if he could get to the edge. But also you saw Jones right there about to make the play as well. But Patrick Payton
in position with his 18-yard run. And Van Dyke convert here. Steps up, downfield, going to the end zone, and overthrows Restrepo.
just a little bit off target for Van Dyke, but a great shot, too much on the ball. And sets up a big field goal try for Borregales.
Borregales, who last week went 4 for 4 in his field goals in that win against Virginia, sent the game to overtime at the end of regulations, and all 4 of his kicks were with 0-0 on the clock. Half, end of regulation, 2 overtimes. What an oddity. And that is very well struck. So a 49-yard field goal, and we have a 7-3 game here, high above Hard Rock. Wilson had a 56-yard touchdown, and Borregales moments ago a 49-yard field goal. I'll tell you, a great crowd here, big atmosphere, very loud from the start. I know there's been a lot of criticism about this place and these fans through some choppy years, but not tonight. They are ready for this one. Such high hopes with Mario Cristobal and his staff and where things should be headed in the coming years. They want tonight to be a big moment. Let's check in with Kevin in the studio.
Tess, good evening. Time now for our Mayhem Moment, brought to you by Allstate. Number 4, Clemson in South Bend. And how about the special teams for Notre Dame? Their 6th block punt of the season. Prince Kollie getting the ball, and he'll go to the end zone. The Irish on the board first, 7-0 late in the first quarter. Another special teams play. Number 5, Michigan, taking on Rutgers. And we got another block punt. And Ward picks it up. Right now, 7 apiece. Rutgers, Michigan. Back to you and Greg and Katie.
I'll tell you, Brian Mason, the special teams coordinator at Notre Dame, is just an ace at block punts. They've been doing it all year long, and they do it again tonight.
What is that, like 25 block punts for him this year?
We had it last week against Syracuse, and he brings different looks every single week as well. Trey Benson, look at how well this is blocked, and here goes Benson. Coming off a career-high 111 yards, and it took Cameron Kitchens to track him down. But a big play from Benson that goes for 42 yards.
Oh, just a beautiful counter look right here with the guard and the tackle on the backside, working all the way out and around, and the Hurricanes over-pursue. They have two guys out wide, and Benson, what a treat it's been to watch him develop and grow, and coming off that knee injury a couple years ago, just a phenomenal player in the backfield.
And tonight playing against his former head coach, the transfer from Oregon, is diving ahead is Benson again. The ACC running back of the week. He is a game-changing kind of player, isn't he?
It is just so difficult to bring down. I mean, you watch him, it doesn't feel either when you're watching it. It doesn't feel like he has crazy top-end speed, but no one catches him. And then it never feels like the first defender brings him down. It's almost he just shrugs them off as if they're a peewee football player. So impressive to watch that young man.
So Philly now comes in on 2nd and 2. He will get the work. He's looking to bounce it. Has the first down and more as he works his way inside the 10-yard line. But a flag is down back at the 23.
Yeah, I think they're going to get McClain. His helmet came off.
Holding offense, number 52. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That's the left tackle, Robert Scott.
Based on where it was thrown, I thought it was going to be on McClain because his helmet came off and he still kind of stayed engaged as a blocker. You're not allowed to do that, but Scott, of course, has been an excellent player there on the front, an offensive line that's improved drastically, and a run game that's improved drastically because of the offensive line, but there just gets a little tangled up.
Travis going to set up the screen. He does so to Douglas, and Douglas will weave his way and dive ahead to the 19-yard line. It'll be a first down Florida State from there.
And I just absolutely love this plan so far from Mike Norvell. I mean, just giving them so many different looks, jet sweeps, counters, screens. They are really throwing a lot of curveballs at Miami.
You know, there was an interesting conversation you had with Kevin Steele, the defensive coordinator for Miami. He said it's amazing how many different looks you get week after week from them.
It's almost as if when you watch Florida State, you never know what offense you're going to get. They have their staples, they have their staple runs and a couple of their staple route concepts, but their formations almost week to week are completely unrecognizable from the week before.
They don't have tendencies, and that makes it hard on guys like Steele to span. He is gobbled up as they're trying to rip that ball away. There'll be 3rd down coming right in front of those fans that have packed Hard Rock and have been loud from the start. Kevin Steele, of course, longtime defensive coordinator everywhere. Bama, Clemson, Auburn, LSU, Baylor head coach way back when. Travis, pressure off the left side. Travis to the end zone. Flag is down as it's intercepted by Kitchens.
Pass interference, defense, number 2. Automatic first down.
That's on Tyreek Stevenson.
This is a good call by the official. Tyreek Stevenson trying to work a little bit of a post corner. Look at how he breaks to the inside. And then, as you can see, Wilson trying to get back to the back pylon. Tyreek Stevenson grabs that jersey, grabs that face mask. So a good job there by the officials, as it was a very clear pass interference.
Second PI on Miami on a third down to keep a drive alive for Florida State. And this one's going to tee it up and serve it on a silver platter with a 1st and goal at the 3-yard line. Travis going to try to do it himself. And he couldn't spin free out of the lock of Smith.
Excellent tackle there by DeAndre Smith. One-on-one in the open field. For Travis is no easy task, but to drop him there before the end zone was extremely well done.
Linebacker they call K4. He's that speed on the field to track him. High formation. Benson looking for anything and finding nothing as he was forced out eventually by Mesidor. He had DJ Lundy, the linebacker slash fullback, in, but he tried to bounce it to the right side and there was nothing there, Greg.
Yeah, number 24, Cameron Kinchich, just went in and completely ate up Lundy there in the backfield, which forced Benson to the outside. Just a great job there by Kinchins, getting in and being extremely physical with the fullback and completely blowing up the play.
What an opportunity now for Miami. 3rd and goal. Lundy and Benson remain in the backfield. 3rd and goal. Play action. Travis. And he gets it to Lundy for the touchdown. DJ Lundy, the linebacker who comes in and plays fullback, a guy who had 11 tackles against Clemson last year, gets a 2-yard touchdown catch here against Miami.
Just beautifully done by Jordan Travis. He's going to get Lundy out into the flat, but it's eaten up initially. But he waits and he's patient and he buys just a little bit of time. Segude closes on him. He drops it right over the top, made him commit, and throws a nice touchdown.
Fitzgerald adds it. At 40, has 4 pass completions. 2 of them are touchdown passes. Let's get an update from Kevin in the studio.
Test now for our Daniels, the John Emery, and it's LSU's offense that strikes first. Right now up 7-3 over on ESPN. Back to you.
And you just watch how Jaden Daniels has been playing the past few weeks. He is on fire. Absolutely on fire.
He's a different guy, man. I mean, we saw him week 1. We saw him 4 times. So we saw him week 1 and we saw him week 7. And he has grown significantly from the time he teed it up against the Noles to where he's at right now.
And here is Tyler Van Dyke with the Canes trailing by 11. Go to Henry Parrish. So the deal with Van Dyke, a little bit of an adjustment period. Obviously, new quarterback coach, new play caller, Josh Gaddis.
And dealing with the weight of preseason expectations. I mean, we've seen it happen, and now more than ever before, Spencer Rattler had to endure that. Several guys have had to endure that, where they come in as, the guy, and then maybe it's not as easy as you think. So it's a challenging spot to be in, especially when you're going to operate under the microscope at a big-time program like Miami. But he's a very talented young man, and as he continues to get more comfortable with Josh Gaddis, he's going to be just fine.
Well, guys, Cristobal said, look, when you lose 3 starting offensive linemen, when your #1 target goes down before game 3, that's difficult on a quarterback. A lot of QBs might act a certain way after being dealt that kind of hand. But Cristobal says Van Dyke has been extremely resilient. He's never made excuses, even with his own injury. He didn't complain or feel sorry for himself. That's garnered him a lot of respect within the locker room.
He's facing a 3rd down and 2 here. And Parrish stacked up right at that line to gain. Let's see where they mark this here. Of course, the offense bottomed out against Middle Tennessee State, as Bethune had the tackle there. But then Van Dyke bounced back against North Carolina, went for 496 yards and 3 touchdowns. And it is Mark Short.
I thought there might be a decision there for Mario Cristobal, but I don't know how you could do it, not at this point. It's too early in the ball game to give it to the Seminoles on the plus 34. So I agree with the decision, but you're right. I mean, there's some growing pains when you change offenses, and I think if you handle it with maturity and class, which Tyler Van Dyke's done, that'll go a long way towards helping him grow as a person.
Lou Headley on to punt as the whistles blow dead. The play clock counting down. Headley punted 8 times last week at Virginia.
Play game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Fifth penalty on Miami, costing them 45 yards already here in this first quarter. Of course, those penalties on 3rd down, the pass interferences, been the damage done. Headley, the big 6'4", 220-pounder from Australia, as Micah Pittman has his heels at the 26-yard line, set for the return. And it's a sidewinder that Pittman will field at the 17-yard line. And they just barrel down on top of him.
The theme so far when Florida State's been on offense is 1st and 2nd down haven't been great, but they've been bailed out a couple times by key 3rd downs. But the big thing is they've made the most of it there. The pass interference on flag. Next play, they hit Pokey Wilson for the big post touchdown over the top. Then here, 3rd down, they flag Tyreek Stevenson on the obvious pass interference. A couple plays later, they find Lundy in the end zone. So Florida State's done a great job of taking advantage of Miami's mistakes here in the early going.
Travis 4 for 4, 75 yards, 2 touchdown passes. Toafili patiently waiting for that block from Robert Scott, and it works out. Flag made the tackle, but it went for 6 yards. Aerial coverage tonight provided by Goodyear, celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. Toafili just carrying a Canes defender with him for a 1st down as he took Agude for a ride. Douglas in motion as Travis keeps it, makes a man miss, and then slides down after picking up the 1st down. Good work from Jordan Travis. It was Caleb Johnson who had a shot at him.
Yeah, just reading the end man on the line of scrimmage right there. It's number 45, Agude. He runs there to the right-hand side, crashes down. It's a good read there by Travis. And they avoid taking the big hit, which is also growth and maturity.
Toafili, he was just tripped up as he was surging towards midfield.
And this run game, as you could see, an injured Hurricane.
Jared Harrison Hunt, the defensive tackle.
Hopefully he'll be okay. Big piece there in the middle, alongside Jackson and Taylor. A defensive front that's really the strength of this team.
Jared Harrison Hunt, who comes from Long Island, New York. At high school basketball at Christ the King, has always been a powerhouse through the years. See Jason Taylor, NFL Hall of Famer, who's an analyst on this absolutely loaded Canes staff that's put together by Mario Cristobal. We got the update from Kevin earlier as to what's happening in Alabama and LSU. It's good to see Harrison Hunt get up to his feet. And obviously Jason Taylor's son, Mason, tight freshman at LSU, had a catch in that game earlier tonight.
Let's take a look at where he went down. It's just difficult to see exactly what it was, but clearly in some pain.
AT&T 5G Skycam. Of course, you can check out the AT&T 5G Skycast. That is streaming live on ESPN3 and the ESPN app. Florida State is averaging 9.7 yards per play.
They're picking up right where they left off last week, except they're doing it now against a really good defense.
Benson, as he's stacked up right near midfield. Wesley Besinct with the tackle for the Canes. 3rd down and 5. Travis on 3rd down. Pressure came. He splits it, kept his footing, and runs for the 1st down. As it took Stevenson coming in to secure him at the end.
And really the first time we've seen him get in the open field, and there isn't a spy just waiting for him. Miami's done a pretty good job of being very aware of where Travis.
Beautiful night in Miami. Right now, Florida State with a 160 total yards, a 49 yards for Miami advantage as they lead 14-3 start this 2nd quarter. Joe, Brendan, Katie with you. Florida State on a 1st down, and Toafili is sent in the wrong direction as Jackson tears him back. Darrell Jackson, who's the transfer from Maryland.
They need to continue to just shoot those gaps as quickly as they can along the front. As you can see Jackson there making a nice play in the backfield. Florida State's been very efficient running the football tonight. They need to get them off schedule and put a little more pressure on Mike Norvell, the play caller.
2nd and 12 for Travis. Has time to set up and go downfield into coverage, and a diving effort for an interception by DJ Ivey. What a play by Ivey.
Well, it felt like Miami's defense had to make a play. Florida State dominated the 1st quarter. But 18 seconds in, the 2nd belongs to the Canes.
Sebastian's happy, and that's because DJ Ivey just had the big diving interception. Now, the other side to that, Greg, is that they're going to be starting from the 2-yard line. And they're going to do so with the true freshman Ja'Curry Brown from his own end zone playing quarterback. As he gives to Stanley. They'll try to move the pile ahead to the 5-yard line.
It is a phenomenal interception here by Ivey. You can see the ball's thrown just a little bit too far downfield, but the way he adjusts to it, he gets in, he collapses on the post, and then he finds and locates the ball and then adjusts to it like a receiver would as well. Just a tremendous job tracking that football. And it's plays like that test that might give you a couple reps on offense in a change of pace situation.
Van Dyke now back in at quarterback on 2nd and 7. So Brown was just in for that one play. He's going to throw from his own end zone. And he's going to have to put it at the feet of Rashard Smith. So it'll be 3rd down and 7 from the 5. And you can see he's in pain. Tyler Van Dyke, who missed last week's game at UVA. That snapped the streak of 16 straight starts, is in pain.
As he's rolling out to his right, he grounds the football, but for whatever reason, clearly that arm is not at 100%. We understood that coming in. Tyler Van Dyke understood that. The coaching staff understood that. They were trying to protect him right there, but man, it's almost like when he threw the ball in a downward motion as opposed to at a normal level. That downward thrust is what kind of caused that shoulder some discomfort. So it's a strange play right there, but hopefully Van Dyke's okay.
So they're going with Ja'Curry Brown, the true freshman. 3rd and 7. Feet on his own goal line. This is what he does. He's a runner. But it is a struggle when they expect it as he makes it to the 10-yard line. And Jamie Robinson, the outstanding defensive back for the Noles, wraps him up there. And the punt team will trot on out. And now Jalen Rivers, the starting left guard, is also down for Miami. They cannot catch a break with the injuries this year at all. There's your star quarterback, and now an offensive lineman also down.
SEC Network. Tess, back to you.
That's an that's an NC State team that Florida State sits back and says, oh, it should have been ours. That was an interception late. They only lost by 2. They were in position for a game-winning field goal. That is such a bad scene as Jalen Rivers for Miami, offensive lineman, is headed into the medical tent. Tyler Van Dyke was grabbing at his right shoulder, couldn't continue on that last series, and now second straight Miami 3 and out, and they are punting from the end zone. That's where Lou Headley sets up, and Micah Pittman will have a chance for great field position. This is sent sidewinding out of bounds just short of the 40-yard line.
Van Dyke trying to see if he's going to be able to continue in this game. If not, might be Ja'Cory Brown. But as you look here, Jalen Rivers, number 64, just getting rolled up on that right foot. And he's now in the medical tent. And of course, here's Van Dyke as he tried to throw the ball and tried to just kind of dirt the ball. He grabbed that throwing shoulder, the injured shoulder, and it's an odd sequence there with him. Going to see if he can't fight through it. They said he looked great all week in practice. Right there, not a good look.
It was only a 29-yard punt by Headley.
This would be a spot here if I'm Florida State. I'm taking a shot.
Benson utilizing those blocks, cutting inside, cutting outside, hitting the accelerator is Trey Benson. That's a heck of a run by Trey Benson. He goes for 20 yards.
And nicely blocked, too, by Dimitri Emmanuel, number 71, comes and kicks it out. And you see Benson just kind of follow him all the way through the hole on the left-hand side and then finding some open space. Well done there by the offensive line and the outstanding running back.
Benson again as he shakes his way inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. Remember, it was Mario Cristobal who recruited him, brought him out to play for Oregon, running back from Mississippi, transfers to Florida State.
Now that you have the defense on your heels and you're picking up 5 yards a pop, first and 10 running the football. Now this part of the field, man, you've got to be able to effectively run it. As a result, Miami bringing an extra defender into the box, number 0, James Blades, down here to take away the run on the left-hand side.
Able to field that snap. Benson again as he dives for the goal line and scores. A 13-yard touchdown for Trey Benson as he already has 87 yards in this game.
Just a great job running through contact and extending here. Does he extend? Yes, it does look like he does cross the plane. Just an unbelievable effort again by Benson.
It was only a 29-yard punt as Miami couldn't get out of that hole. And then you just give it to number 3 and let him do his thing. You see him reaching out for that goal line. See that left knee at that moment, the plane is crossed. All it takes is a sliver of leather on that football to cross that white plane. Watch that knee.
It's an amazing effort there by Benson.
It's on the other side. It's Rivers being helped to the locker room.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands as called. Touchdown.
I hate to see that for Rivers. We were doing a game last year against Michigan State when he suffered a season-ending injury, and he's not putting any weight on that right leg. Florida State's already run for 121 yards in this first half against Miami. As Fitzgerald makes it 21-3.
And this is an 8-man box from Miami's defensive coordinator to stop the run. I mean, you have 7 blockers and you have 8 defenders in the box. But when you run counters and you roll these guys around, it neutralizes the numbers. But that's right there. You have an extra hitter in the box. Number 0, James Williams. He's up there trying to stop the run. They're selling out against the run, begging you to throw it. And it doesn't matter. With how it was blocked, how it was executed, it was a thing of beauty. Just an outstanding, outstanding job there by the offensive line in the run game for the Florida State Seminoles.
You know, guys, when Trey Benson was at Oregon, he said all he could think about was that knee injury. It really weighed on him. And then when Mario Cristobal left for Miami, he said, you know what? I need a change of scenery. And the first person to call him was the first person to give him his first scholarship offer in high school. Benson and Norvell picked up right where they left off when he was in the 10th grade. He said it was truly special. He said once he arrived at FSU, his thoughts, his worries about that knee faded away. He says he grows more confident in his ability every day he plays.
It was a major injury in 2020 for Benson. Now he's faster than he was before. He was clocked at 22.7 miles per hour on a touchdown run earlier this year. And the situation for Miami, we just saw Tyler Van Dyke, their star quarterback who missed last week's game against UVA, come off the field grabbing at his right shoulder. And he's going to attempt to get back at it, Greg.
Man, just so much respect for this young man. I mean, just a warrior. Obviously at less than 100%, it's shown, but hanging in there and trying to battle with his teammates to see if he can't get his team back in the ball game. They need a drive here in the biggest way possible.
He's going to pass, coming back onto the field. And he just goes down. And he goes down on that right shoulder as Fabian Lovett was getting close to him.
Yeah, guys, when TVD was over here on the sidelines, he said he was feeling better. He said it wasn't his bicep, it's more up top, and that it was the first time he felt it all night.
And that's so hard because as a quarterback, subconsciously, you want to cut it loose as hard as you can and throw with no reserve whatsoever. But, man, when you're feeling that pain, it's really hard to cut it loose.
2nd and 17. He's going to give it a shot. Pressure came up the middle. And he goes sidearm, but that was deflected. He was trying to get it to Restrepo, and it was batted away. That looked like Lovett was able to track that ball and get a piece of it.
Yeah, and he does a nice job of escaping here quickly. Breaks contain. But you see the ball doesn't come out of his hand very well again, and he kind of goes down gingerly. It's a Warriors effort, but right now it's pretty obvious he's just not going to be the best man for the job if he's continuing to play at less than 100%.
So Jake Garcia comes in. He was the starter last week and had the game-winning overtime score at Virginia. On 3rd and 17, this is how he enters the game. As he's just able to run it out to the 31-yard line. Reedy Vance was able to angle with him.
Got to wonder here. Yeah, I mean, it's not quite to the point in which you got to go for it. Maybe if it's 4th and 1, you think about it, but it's a good effort there by Garcia. At least getting something out of it, but it's at this point where you just got to have a conversation with your offense and conversation with your quarterbacks, going back over the plan and figure out a way to adjust what they've done offensively to this point to what's going to make Jake Garcia comfortably, because I feel like it's going to be him the rest of the way.
3rd straight 3 and out. 3rd punt for Headley. Tomorrow on Sunday NFL Countdown, Chris Berman goes one-on-one with Bills quarterback Josh Allen. Matt Hasselbeck will be all access with Kirk Cousins and the Vikings at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. Monday Night Football is Ravens-Saints. That's 8 Eastern on ESPN. Deportes, of course, the app. And Monday Night Countdown will get you started at 6 Eastern. We've got Peyton and Eli on ESPN2. Tonight they've given up 119 rush yards as the Miami defense. They came in 22nd best rush defense in the country. Travis, as he tries to get it to Wilson on the sideline, and he does. Good body control by 6'7" Johnny Wilson.
Yeah, and how about the strong hands, too, from the transfer from Arizona State? I mean, that is difficult there on the sideline as he maintained control all the way through. Yes, he does. It's well covered, but, man, that just shows you how strong Johnny Wilson is.
Better be 6'7" if you're going to make that play. Toafili just splitting the defense, and another gash run by Florida State across midfield down to the 42-yard line.
This run game and this offensive line, so much credit is deserved. You see Kevin Steele right there. Not a whole lot you can do as a defensive coordinator. You're just getting gashed right up the middle. But this offensive line, man, is playing so well tonight.
Toafili stacked up, just had to grind out a couple more yards as he was met by K. Ford, Keontre Smith.
I think obviously it's been well documented that this offensive line for years has really struggled. As you look at Alex Atkins, universally respected. What a great offensive line coach. Also has that offensive coordinator tag. He's done an outstanding job with this group throughout the last couple of years.
Out of the backfield is Toafili on 2nd and 8. Able to get past that initial surge by Miami defensively where Couch tried to get his foot. But that goes for 2 yards. So it'll be 3rd down and 6.
Right here, if you're Florida State thinking, man, I could throw it, I can run it. But I think I have 2 downs to get it. Here with 6 to go, you really have your entire playbook. And with their aggressiveness and how they have momentum right now, got to think they're going to go for it on 4th down if they get positive yardage here.
They're 2 for 2 on 3rd down tonight. Here's the 3rd and 6.
Soft coverage by Miami.
They're way off, aren't they? They run it with Toafili with that, and he's brought down by Elijah Roberts.
Kind of an interesting sequence there. I mean, Mike Norvell looking on, really first time Miami's defense done a great job of kind of holding up at the line of scrimmage there. Man, they had really soft coverage into the boundary. You could have thrown a quick 1-yard hitch to that wide receiver, and he would have had the first down with ease before the defender would have met him. Kind of curious there on 3rd and 6.
Mastromano on to punt after Miami had their 5th TFL tonight. Oh, what a great job on special teams from John Papuchis' unit as they get the pin. And it works out perfectly at the 2-yard line. Alex Mastromano placing it perfectly, allowing Douglas and Robinson to get down there and create that wall. And Mike.
Jake from State Farm. Look, I want that personal price plan, so I'm going to level with you. I've literally never washed Patrick's practice jersey. Superstitious.
Jeff, you don't need to get that personal. The State Farm Personal Price Plan simply helps you create an affordable price just for you.
Yo, Jeff, you sure this is clean?
Absolutely, Patrick.
There you go.
Ugh. That's on me.
Yeah.
Call or click to get a quote today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
It's going to be a great show.
The CMA Awards live Wednesday on ABC.
Hasn't been pretty for the Miami offense. They open with a field goal, then it's punt, punt, punt. Starting quarterback Tyler Van Dyke is out. Ja'Cory Brown from his own end zone right now. As Stanley tries to create some room, gets 1.5 yards.
It's so hard when you have a freshman quarterback in this spot on the field, because really there's nuance to this part of the field. You can adjust your cadence. You can see if you can't draw the opposing defense off sides. There's ways of being able to kind of mess with the defenders to help your offensive line out a little bit. But you would imagine Jacurri Brown, young player early in his development, probably not super comfortable doing some of those things right now.
True freshman from Valdosta, Georgia. And he is met after gaining about 1.5 yards, 2 yards. So it'll be third down from there. Well, we saw him in the Wildcat formation for 4 games this year. We saw him when it was third and short. He's got great athleticism. He's tall. He's strong. But this is a different task that he's faced with tonight. And now Jake Garcia, who was last week's starter, the backup to Van Dyke, comes in on 3rd and 5.
It's a difficult spot, too, for Garcia to only have a couple snaps in this game, both of which critical third down situations.
Garcia, the redshirt freshman from California, on 3rd and 5 from his own goal line, and it's intercepted. Greedy Vance with the pickoff of Jake Garcia.
And you're going to see vertical release and then a comeback to the outside. But look how nicely played this is. Walled out and to get out underneath into the flat. As you see, Greedy gets out, sees it, runs right out to it, and makes the play. He collisions the vertical, and then he just walks right into that interception. Garcia never saw him, thought he had a free throw to the outside, and Vance is waiting for it perfectly.
And Florida State takes over at the Miami 7. Trey Benson. He has been great in his first half. Look at that effort by Trey Benson. Touchdown Florida State is the signal on the far side. Can you believe that? Trey Benson bottled up, given the second effort, the third effort, going through Miami defenders and then stretching it out.
Wow. How did he stay upright? He gets caught in the kind of the entire jam, falls down onto his back, somehow spins out of it.
He rolled over on his back.
It was unbelievable.
He literally rolled over on a pile of defenders and then was able to leap ahead for the goal line.
And is that right knee down just before, right there is the knee down before he crosses the plane. It might be, but doesn't take away from a ridiculous effort there by Benson.
It's a touchdown. The previous play is under further review.
This is a young man, the transfer from Oregon, who has wowed everybody all year long. We're going to take another look at this. This effort is incredible. And that's a lot of desire right there. I mean, listen, you got to be physically gifted, but that's desire right there to keep that going.
And you just got to wonder, are they looking at that right knee right there? And where is the ball as that knee touches the plane? It is right here. Big Rob Scott, number 52, trying to screen the goalie there, as you can't see whether the knee's down or not. Far side might have decent look at it. Right there. Knee's definitely down. Just where is the ball at that point?
Well, that's the moment where he springs and leaps ahead, not when he is fully stretched out. He uses the knee and that back foot in that sprinter stance to then surge all his body weight ahead. So here it is synced up, Greg.
And here's a great look at it right there. There's right there. It's almost a little after it appears as he kind of reaches forward. Remember, you can't draw conclusions. The call on the field is a touchdown. So you have to have indisputable video evidence beyond all doubt to overturn. And is there enough? I think his knee's down and the ball should be marked at the 1 yard line. But if you don't have the video evidence to justify that decision, then the call has to stand. Be interesting to see how they piece it all together.
Let's bring in our rules expert, Matt Austin.
Yeah, Joe, I agree with you and Greg. I think Greg explained it extremely well. Without a view right down the goal line and a view of the knee touching, you really can't tell what happened. So I do think he's short, as Greg said, but I have a feeling this is going to stand just because of the views we have.
So that is Matt conferring with Greg on do you have the down the line, but what can you prove, and how the call on the field is the touchdown. Can I just forget what they come up with? There are moments from Trey Benson this year where you just stop and say, this kid's special.
Oh, he's unbelievable.
After further review, the runner's knee was down while the ball is at the 1-yard line. It will be 2nd and goal from the 1.
So they're going to take the touchdown off the board. But I'm telling you, there are just certain plays he makes where there's a dynamic quality to it.
He refuses to go down on initial contact. I mean, he does it as well as anybody in all of college football. I mean, you think about Bijan Robinson, Americans, all these incredible players. I mean, this guy is as tough to bring down as anybody, especially in a one-on-one situation.
And now they go with their short yardage of 23 personnel with the I formation of Lundy, who had the touchdown catch, the linebacker who plays fullback as well. And Benson couldn't get the glory on that carry. They're going to mark him just inches short of the goal line.
If you're going to nitpick the run game a little bit for Florida State, this is the area where you'd like to see a little bit more improvement. Goal line, short yardage, obvious running situations. This has been the area they've run it so well this year, relatively speaking, to the years past. But this is the one area down the stretch you'd love to see a little bit of growth and a good opportunity to rep it here.
3rd and goal. They passed to Lundy to fullback last time in this spot. See what they do here. Benson. And he is in for the touchdown. So they reward him, and he gets it in again. And Trey Benson with a first half of 94 yards and 2 touchdowns. 94 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Just a great effort here. It was well defended there initially by Smith, who held up and stood up Lundy there as he broke through the hole, but Benson just too much as he continued to drive his legs across the goal line.
Remember the conversation we had about how Florida State could end up down the stretch of this season. They have put themselves in really good position. 28-3.
I'm the captain of the P game that has 91 points in the first half. Tess, highlights coming your way.
Wow. 91 in the first half.
Don't you start your victory lap yet, Booger. All right? Long game.
LSU and Bama guys. Now they're barbing.
You know, Trey Benson told me he was unsure if he'd ever return to full strength after tearing his knee, but he gained courage having his mom and brother by his side. Eric, who's 2 years younger, suffers from lupus. He dealt with significant weight loss and symptoms from the autoimmune disease, and yet he continued to battle and fight through it. Benson said his brother's positivity and determination was a source of inspiration during his own rehab process. They got through it together. Eric's doing extremely well now. He's healthy and invested in Benson's career. He texts his brother before every game, don't hesitate, just run. I think older brother is listening.
He sure is, inspired by his brother, and such sensitivity, so many with that autoimmune disease and the difficulties with it. Rashard Smith. So it's nice to see Eric sitting there with mom smiling tonight and watching Trey do his thing.
Man, I love watching that young man. I really do. And his story makes it, I mean, it was special before. It's even more special now. I mean, just really an amazing young man that's fought back from adversity, and with a beacon of positivity that he's got in his corner. It's no surprise to see the success he's found here throughout the course of the 2022 season.
Curry Brown in at quarterback for Miami. 4.5 minutes until we get to Kevin and Booger, and all the highlights get you up to speed on what could be a wild night in the sport. Here's Brown on 2nd and 9, trying to spin free. Only does so for 1.5 yards.
And I know Miami's playing with one arm tied behind their back right now, and I know that they've had their fair share of issues, but man, you also got to tip your cap to this Florida State defense. I mean, they're making great plays at the line of scrimmage. You can tell that Fabian Lovett, and his impact's been significant. It's great to have him back in the middle of that defense. Jared Verse is a presence on the outside. Cooper's been terrific. I mean, this defensive front, and they're taking names up front right now.
Forward defensive coordinator, former Miami head coach Randy Shannon, as well as co-DC. 3rd and 7, and Brown gets it to Restrepo, who goes up and over for the catch. Great effort by Restrepo.
Well, we asked Mario Cristobal, all right, how does Ja'Cory Brown throw it? Because he threw one last week, kind of threw it in the dirt. Well, that's a heck of a throw right there. I mean, that is a big-time throw into a very tight window, and a heck of a catch there by Restrepo.
And that's the first completion of Brown's career. Rooster Knighton just has to fight his way back to the line of scrimmage as Deloach is carried ahead for a 1.5 yards.
Josh Gaddis trying to get his young quarterback into a little bit of a rhythm. So far, it's very obvious. Florida State's selling out against the run and having some success.
Knighton nowhere to go. That front doing their job very well that time. Jamie Robinson coming in from that safety position.
At some point, Josh Gaddis is going to have to be willing on 1st and 2nd down to at least challenge the Florida State defense, because that time Jamie Robinson coming right off the edge. I mean, they're full sellout on 1st and 2nd down against the run, and at some point you got to take advantage of their aggressiveness.
Third and 8. Brown, he is sacked. And that is Jared Verse. A flag is down at the 42. It's Jared Verse who leads the ACC in tackles for loss.
Holding offense number 53. Penalties decline. 4th down.
And Verse has been phenomenal this year. He's been banged up a bit, playing through it.
Yeah, he has, and this time just full speed. Right around John Campbell, who's at less than 100%. You can see him engage quickly for just a half second, and then boom, he turns the corner. As you can see, Jared Verse, what an amazing story, and really kind of an interesting story here, especially in 2022. A guy who used lower level, under-recruited out of high school, now getting a chance on the highest possible stage. And Katie, what an amazing job he's done establishing that presence and filling that void that Jermaine Johnson left on that defensive front.
It's really been amazing to watch, and you said it, he wasn't recruited out of high school, so he didn't experience official visits, fielding coaches' calls, weighing the pros and cons of one school versus another. So when he entered the portal, he said it was really overwhelming. So his mom, Janine, set up a war room in their dining room, creating a poster for each team that had reached out. On the poster was the team's previous record, how many bowl games they'd been to in the last 5 years, transfers coming in, topics of conversation. Little by little, they started taking over 30 posters off the wall as he narrowed down his list, eventually settling on Florida State, and he says he loves that decision.
What a ride it has been for him.
It's been a great decision for him. It's a great decision for Florida State.
They're going to scatter from this punt as it settles in at about the 18-yard line. Taco Bell Live Más student section, as student sections across the country are competing to be the Live Más student section of the year all season long. And when they arrived, I mean, I don't know, did you walk through the tailgate, Greg?
Oh, yeah.
It was rocking out there, and this place was roaring. But obviously, this thing's gone a little sideways in the first half, 28-3. But they sold out Hard Rock, and there was a great atmosphere to start this game. They are in a deep hole with injuries, banged up at quarterback, and facing a Florida State offense that is running straight through them. Got a flag pre-snap.
false start offense, number 52. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Aerial coverage tonight is provided by Goodyear. Road tested and game ready. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. Bruce had the sack on that last third down. And now here's Toafili on a 1st and 5 out of the backfield with the catch.
There's not much you could point to with Florida State to say, hey, you need to clean this up in the second half. Maybe try this a little bit more. I mean, everything they've touched has turned to gold with the exception of the interception that Jordan Travis threw. But that was really a better defensive play than it was anything else.
And a spectacular diving effort from DJ Ivey. 2nd and 7. They bring pressure. And Toafili has it. Travis found Toafili, and here he goes as he cuts back and is still flying downfield inside the 15-yard line. Travis had to pay the price for standing in there, and Toafili jetted downfield.
Unblocked defender off the left-hand side, but he has Toafili on the wheel route, something they use all the time. Travis knows it, knows he has to beat the blitzer because he doesn't have anybody to account for him as Caleb Johnson delivered a big, clean shot to his rib cage, but Jordan Travis popped right up, delivered a great throw. He's hurting right now, I can assure you, but man, what toughness.
65-yard play. As Couch able to wrap up Toafili that time. Look at this hit that Johnson puts on him.
Big time. I mean, and to know, too, that wheel route out of the backfield, it's not like it's something that happens immediately. I mean, that thing takes a second. So Jordan Travis, and he's taken a lot of shots in his career, but man, that was a big one. And he was still able to hang in there long enough to throw an accurate pass for a big play.
2nd and 11. Travis. And threw it to the outside and behind Malik McClain. 3rd down from there.
Part of the growth, though, with Travis, though, I mean, that was outstanding recognition. He knew where his outlet was. He knew he had an unblocked defender. And he also had a running back being guarded by a defensive tackle. I mean, I think that's a favorable matchup that you'd like to create. D-tackle against running back all day long, man. But right there, not on the same page after the corner blitz, setting up 3rd and long.
Travis on 3rd down as the pocket starts to collapse on him, and he is sacked. And that was Jordan Miller and company caving in on Jordan Travis.
And really a good job by this defensive front. I mean, all 4 defenders, watch the pocket just collapse around Jordan Travis. There's really nothing open downfield, but even if there was, the pocket's so condensed you wouldn't want to try to throw, because if you try to throw and you separate that left hand from the ball, you're probably going to get that thing strip sacked. So a good job there just eating it by Jordan Travis.
Fitzgerald comes in and nails the 41-yard field goal. He had an 11-point game against Miami last year, and here he makes it 31-3 at the half. Jordan Travis with 2 touchdown passes. Benson with 2 touchdown runs. And it is 31-3 Florida State. Capital One halftime report is still to come. The second half kickoff. We have seen all 3 quarterbacks with Miami, with Tyler Van Dyke dealing with pain in his right shoulder. Curry Brown, the true freshman's got in. Jake Garcia has been in. Into an interception in that 2nd quarter. And just earlier, Katie was with Coach Norvell.
Your perfect performance from your defense. What impressed you most in that first half from that group?
You know, they're playing really hard. I like the physicality that's showing up. You know, we're stopping the run. We're able to run the football in the offense. You know, it's been a good first half, but like I told our guys, we got 30 more minutes, and you know, it's our opportunity to go out there and finish this thing.
Trey Benson has been on his tear. What needs to continue offensively in the next 2 quarters?
You know, we got to continue to create run seams. I mean, I think our offensive linemen, they're working hard. It's a talented defensive front. We've been able to have some explosive runs, been efficient in the passing game. We had the one turnover, but, you know, that's one of those things that you will respond well to. And, you know, obviously our guys, really proud of what they've done to this point. We got to play 30 more minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Parrish took it ahead for just 2 yards there. He's very proud of his guys. They've been running the ball well. 135 rushing yards for Florida State, 38 for Miami. Total yards are 304 Florida State to 78 for Miami.
Yeah, and it's really been just one play after another. I mean, Florida State in the first half averaging nearly 8.5 yards a play, whereas Miami under 3. So completely different sides for both teams heading into halftime.
2nd and 8 as Parrish will make it 3rd and 3, tackled by Kalen DeLoach. Mario Cristobal, who's so familiar with the foundation of this program, having been a part of the glory years of this rivalry, as part of Wide Right 1, Wide Right 2. And now first year as head coach. This is just an uphill battle with what they're facing with all the injuries and how this Florida State team is playing on the other side.
It's a proud program, though, and I think Mario Cristobal, he's got the right recipe for where this program needs to go. It's not one that you could just wave the magic wand and get better overnight. It's going to take a little bit of time.
We'll talk more about that, the scope of this Miami program, as they use a timeout, facing a 3rd and 3.
Well, I spoke with Mario Cristobal coming out of half test, and he said when Tyler Van Dyke got hurt, he said things started unraveling really fast, and then Jalen Rivers going down was a huge blow. He said he's our best offensive lineman, so we're going to need to try to fill that void. He said first and foremost, we got to establish the run, but we can't be in a hurry. One play does not get us back in this thing. We can slowly work our way back, one drive, one play at a time. We got to see how we can respond in moments of adversity.
And obviously, Greg, very different approach when you have the true freshman quarterback in there, this kind of a score. They're dealing with injuries on that offensive line. They even got one in the pregame warm-ups. There's John Campbell, who's playing through it, was nicked up.
Yeah, they have definitely had their fair share of adversity tonight, but this is an opportunity for Mario Cristobal. Even in defeat, you can evaluate the effort and you can evaluate the mentality of your team. All the guys that take the field, what kind of effort do they give, even if it won't change the result in the end game?
And they're pointing as there was movement up front off the timeout.
False start. Offense number 71. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Let's remind people what happened with Tyler Van Dyke earlier.
And it happened as he was rolling to his right. Didn't take a hit or anything, just throwing it away. Really nothing to it. And then boom, he reaches up and grabs his shoulder, tries to push through it, said he was feeling a little bit better as he talked with trainers on the sideline. And there was this throw that just didn't come off his arm very well at all. Kind of landed awkwardly, and now he's in street clothes, which indicates obviously that his night is done. Just hoping the best for him, and clearly I don't think any of us realized just how injured he was coming into tonight's game.
3rd down and 8 as Brown goes underneath to Parrish, who was taken down right away by Jamie Robinson, so they will be punting.
We have to acknowledge too and appreciate Van Dyke for trying. I mean, I know that tonight was not his night. I know that he obviously would love to have given his team a better chance to be successful, but he tried. You know, I mean, I think a lot of guys now, especially knowing his future and the possibilities of him playing on Sundays being incredibly high, a lot of people would choose to kind of sit back and protect, but he decided to try to give it his best shot against his team's rival, and just wasn't meant to be.
Lou Headley punting for the 5th time, punted 8 times last week. As it checks up near the 23-yard line. Florida State back on offense. That means we will see Trey.
Anybody else? I mean, Trey Benson all game long has been terrific. Here he was on the counter, out the backside. Did a really nice job here. Look at the running through contact. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, initial contact almost never brings him down. Here he is, extended to the left-hand side for a touchdown. And then, after he got stopped and reviewed, a couple plays later, he finds pay dirt yet again. I mean, Trey Benson all night long has been tremendous, and Miami has had absolutely no answer against the outstanding running back.
Travis going to set up the screen this time to Benson. And look at Benson go. Exactly what you were just detailing. And consider his inspiration. There's his mother to the left, his brother Eric, who is dealing with lupus and has been such a motivational force as Benson continues his big night.
I mean, Mesidor has him. I mean, he reads it out pretty good, has a chance at it, just can't bring him down. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. It's a defensive end right there at 280 pounds. They can't drop him in the open field as his mom and brother look on. They'd probably be tired of standing up and sitting down, A big play after another from their son. Amazing.
This time tries to get the extra effort, but he was held up by Keontre Smith. .28 halftime lead for Florida State. That's the largest they've had against their rivals in the last 25 seasons.
And it was a clinic now. I mean, if not for an incredible interception by DJ Ivey, I mean, that thing could have been even bigger than it was. So Florida State really hitting their stride these last couple weeks, and this offense is looking like one you do not want to mess around with.
So Feely, as he's able to find a seam on that right side, it'll be 3rd down and 2. Agude with the tackle.
I think you also need to keep in mind, too, now Miami has certainly had their fair share of issues at times this year defensively, but think about last week. I mean, coming off of one of the best defensive performances in recent Miami football history. I mean, winning a game in 4 overtimes and allowing just 12 points is remarkable. So think of what Florida State's doing against a quality defense, especially along the front, is pretty astonishing.
Third and 2. Travis trying to do it on his own, and he does. Jordan Travis with the fleet feet. Flag is down, as is an offensive lineman. Looks like Robert Scott, who's slow to get up. Saturday Night Football next week. TCU in Austin taking on Texas. That's a very good matchup. That'll begin at 7:30 Eastern on ABC. Take a short break and be right back.
12. That's something that is definitely worth discussing as well.
Well, the other thing is Clemson has produced nothing tonight against Notre Dame, and they're down by 21 in the 4th quarter. And there were so many people this week that were looking at Clemson and just saying, really? And now here they are. They're headed towards a loss unless something stunning happens.
They just weren't very good. I mean, you know who Clemson was? They were Iowa in 2015.
Yes.
Like, you look at Iowa in 2015, Iowa, if they would have won the Big Ten championship in 2015, they would have been undefeated, but nobody looked at them like they were any good. And then guess what? They played, as you can see, the ranking show on Tuesday. I'll be on it, actually.
Are you really?
Yeah, shameless plug.
Are you flying to Connecticut?
I am, presented by Verbo. So very excited. I am going to be in Connecticut.
How about that?
Hopefully you'll be in Naples. So
I will.
Yeah. But I am very much looking forward to being a part of it. I'm very interested. This could be a fascinating rankings this week, especially with some of the chaos that's likely to ensue.
I'm very excited to hear your opinion on the show Tuesday night. Travis on 2nd and 9, and he is taken down. That was great pursuit up front. As Jordan Miller was the first to get there. You can see how pumped up he is. You always talk about when you get a lopsided score like this, who's still playing with fire and effort.
Right, who's still making an impact. This is a great job. As you can see, Miller engaged there with Emmanuel. Just kind of disengaging quickly and closing on Jordan Travis. It's an excellent job there by Emmanuel.
Third down and 24. As they will give to Toafili on 3rd and 24. Back to that conversation we were having about Clemson.
Right.
I think a lot of it had to do with the Clemson brand name.
Sure. 100%. That was the problem. That was what was so infuriating, is that you could tell me all day long, well, look what they've done. I was like, all right, yeah, tell me, please.
Yeah, I will.
Tell me what they've
And not
done.
only that, the eye test.
Well, it's at the eye test, like you said, but I mean, yeah, okay, good win against Syracuse. Syracuse lost today. I mean, good win against NC State. NC State's not great. I mean, good win against Florida State. They're not ranked. I mean, it's...
And yet another pin punt by Florida State. Their special teams has been outstanding. And I think that becomes important. Listen, LSU, if they hold on against Alabama, is going to be a fascinating conversation because and everybody who's close to Florida State knows all about LSU from the Week 1 thriller. And now look at the way both of those teams are playing as you get to the real deep meat of the season. Look at the way those two teams that put forth that thriller Week 1 have gotten better and better and better.
No doubt. I mean, it's definitely amazing to see just how Florida State's improved, LSU's improved. I also think, too, you know, this is the happiest people in the world right now are Pac-12 fans. That's who's benefiting the most.
Brown from his own end zone as he's able to throw it away.
Because now there's actually a pathway into the playoff for a USC or a UCLA or an Oregon, even though I think UCLA and USC might even have better cases to be made, as you can see right here. Just a nice job by Ja'Cory Brown evading the tackler and avoiding the safety and throwing it away. But there's a lot that's going on in the Pac-12. SC especially really benefits today because they could still get in very much as a one-loss Pac-12 champion.
And here is Knighton, Rooster Knighton, as he accelerates just short of midfield.
Really nice job here. You see the insert by Will Mallory, number 85. Knighton cuts right off behind him and finds some open space. Really the first time all game that Florida State has been a little bit unsound in the front defensively, and Miami takes advantage.
That's their first play. Over 20 yards. And Knighton with another good run.
There's a little life now from the Miami Hurricanes. Starting to get the run game going just a little bit. The only problem is they're doing it against the Florida State backups, Joshua Farmer and Malcolm Ray. You don't see Fabian Lovett and Robert Cooper out there, and you don't see Jared Verse as well. So backups in for Florida State, at least on this drive.
Those three have been so good. Brown. As he goes straight ahead for another first down for Miami. Been a while since Miami's had a touchdown drive. Last game was all field goals and then a two-point conversion in overtime. Went a quarter deep the game before that. And that's what they're trying to break. 7+ quarters. Third quarter against Duke back on October 22nd was the last touchdown for Miami. And the first time in Florida State territory since their field goal halfway through the first quarter. Here's Knighton again. He's out of the backfield. Gets it inside the 20-yard line. Taken down by DJ Lundy. DJ Lundy, who played fullback as well and had a touchdown reception on offense.
And now here come the starters for the Florida State Seminoles. Seen enough. After what's been a really promising drive, by far the best drive from the Hurricanes all night.
Franklin, as he will move the chains again for Miami. Jamie Robinson with the tackle there. Brown's going to keep it. And he works his way to the 7-yard line. Ja'Kurrie Brown, true freshman from Valdosta, Georgia, who came in tonight with limited work, came in with only 54 yards rushing and 0 for 3 passing, but was pressed into action with the injury status of Tyler Van Dyke. You've been getting a glimpse of his athleticism and speed. He is tall, he is strong. 6'4", 215 pounds.
He's got some great tools. Very explosive in the run game and has a big arm as well.
Brown, as he spins ahead for a couple of yards. That was McClendon who crashed down on him, and McClendon is still down on the turf. And as Tyler Van Dyke can just watch on. As the trainers head out to McClendon, we will take a break. Start of the fourth quarter. Jordan Travis to the end zone. It's that easy to Cam McDonald. And Knowles fans haven't gone anywhere. They want to enjoy every moment of this, as Jordan Travis says good night. This is a thumping, Greg. I know Miami's in a tough spot with everything they're dealing with and then adding on injuries tonight, but this is a thumping. (38-3). Cam McDonald with the 8-yard touchdown catch. That's how they open up the fourth quarter. For that. Jordan Travis, 3 touchdown passes on the evening. 38-3. Florida State up here in the fourth quarter. Rashard Smith out of the end zone. Hey, the ACC Huddle Crew is going to wrap up the day. Recap everything with ACC football. 11 o'clock on ACC Network and on the ESPN app. Jordan, Eric, Coach Rick, Eddie, EJ, everybody does a great job there. Ja'Kurrie Brown, true freshman. As he goes ahead for 12 yards. We were asking you the Aflac trivia question earlier tonight. All the great tight ends who have come through here, but we said, you know, back in wide right 3, who had the touchdown catch, the go-ahead to hold on for that win? You said?
Jeremy Shockey.
They went up 27-24.
I'm surprised it wasn't, you know, some other backup tight end that ended up going on to be like a multiple Pro Bowl, several All-Pro type of guy. That's how deep that roster was.
Exactly. Jacoby George, as he gains extra yardage. Sophomore from nearby Lauderdale. Has huge upside.
I think just need to acknowledge, too, it's not a good night for Miami. I mean, it's a bad night. Banged up. Guys hurt. Not at 100%. Defense has been gashed time and time again. But, man, there's a lot of young players that you can grow with. And I think a good example is look at Florida State. Look at how active they were in the portal. And look how much better they are this year as a result.
There's the receiver screen as he goes to Colby Young. Well, here comes the extra stuff that you typically get in a rivalry game like this, as George and Jones, Jacoby George and Jerry and Jones had a little something extra after the play.
I like that the official didn't throw it either. I mean, it was a little testy for a second. Could have justified. Had he thrown it, I would have understood. You go offsetting, unsportsmanlike, but the tempers are going to flare, especially in a rivalry game like this.
Corey Brown, freshman quarterback from Georgia, was a big-time dual-threat recruit. ESPN had him number 6 in the country. Came to Miami in the spring.
False start, offense, number 51. 5-yard penalty, second down.
That's DJ Scaife, who has started every game at right tackle this year.
I think even though, look, this is not the year that Miami wanted, especially with all the preseason hype, they've certainly been one of the most disappointing teams in college football. There's no denying that. But we are in an era now in college football where you can go from worst to first. I'm not saying they're going to win the national championship next year, but the pathway to getting your roster fortified is much easier now in the era of the portal. So hopefully they'll be very, very big users of that.
Brown slides down. Let's see where they mark him here. A yard short of that line to gain. But then you think about the funneling of talent, and 10 players from the ESPN 300 class of 23 are committed to Miami right now.
And Mario Cristobal is tenacious on the recruiting trail. He's got excellent staff with ties to the area that understand the footprint, and that Mario Cristobal, if you're going to sell playing at the U, who knows better than Mario Cristobal? He did it and lived it.
He is it, yep. 3rd and 2. Brown, as he reaches ahead, drives the legs, and that'll move the chains. Listen, he wants to build the winning culture the way Miami had it in the past. Then you get the influx of talent. And then you mentioned the transfer portal, and he is so tapped in all across the country. So there probably will be some massive roster transition coming, but they already have good young talent in there, and they're going to get more of it. And you don't have to look far when it comes to within this state to find the best players in the country.
You don't have to say the state. You can say the county.
That's correct.
You just go out 30 minutes in every direction. And if you don't run into the ocean, you're going to run into about 10 Division I prospects.
Jake Garcia in at quarterback. Ball came loose, and it looks like the Noles have it, and they do. Florida State is just pumped up as they're out celebrating on the field. Malcolm Ray with the fumble recovery. 3rd Kings turnover tonight, Greg.
Yeah, just Garcia's dropping back, and really nice job on the right-hand side by Patrick Payton to be able to jar that thing loose, just reaching up and around and dislodging that football. And DJ Scaife in a pretty good spot, but he's able to dislodge it quickly. When it rains, it pours. And that's exactly what's happening right now with the Hurricanes.
Tate Rodemaker is in at quarterback. Jordan Travis's night is complete. And Toafili will get the work. Rodemaker did come in and replace Jordan Travis in the game at Louisville. That happened in the 2nd quarter. They went on to win that game. He had 3 scoring drives. That was a 35-31 win.
He was awesome in that game, too. I mean, you see Travis go down, and you're thinking, oh, boy, Rodemaker is – you watch him earlier in the season and earlier in his career, like he's not afraid to take some risks with the football. Rodemaker really showed poise in that position, and I think impressed a lot of people with how he handled that environment against Louisville.
And here he is to pass on 2nd and 8. Was looking to set up the easy screen to Douglas. Katie?
You know, guys, Jordan Travis is all smiles down here, and rightfully so, hugging a bunch of different ones of his teammates. But I thought it was interesting. On unsuccessful drives throughout this evening, which there hasn't been very many, he's been upset, angry on the sidelines, talking to players one-on-one, talking to head coach Mike Norvell. And I just think that that shows a change in the standard. Jordan Travis holds himself to a very different standard than when he took over the starting position. This whole team, this entire program now holds himself to a different standard. I think that's just a testament to their quarterback and who he is.
Yeah, the conversation we had earlier this year about his growth and development, even small things like Katie being the best man at his brother's wedding and giving a toast there. 3rd down and 8. And Rodemaker taken down at midfield as he was sacked by Kelly. Flag is down. Back at the 37-yard line.
The chippiness continues.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense number 5. 15-yard penalty. The down counts, 4th down.
Deuce Spann, and Mike Norvell is making sure he understands the circumstances. Talked about that emotional maturity, and now you can see him upset even on the sideline with some of his teammates.
I like that too. Mike Norvell going and having a conversation. Look at me. I know you're mad. You can read his lips. I know you're mad. I know you're frustrated. You need to get it together. I think that's good. I mean, go and handle it right now. When tempers are flaring, Odell Hagen's over there too as well. I mean, one of the most respected coaches in America. And you see Deuce Spann calming down and having a conversation with his coaching staff. It's a good job of addressing the situation now. And then there's Jordan Travis, another leader on the offense that's going and calming down his buddy.
Under 10 minutes to play here. See how Miami paddles to the wire.
The Venture X card.
It's a near flawless evening in the rivalry game here in Hard Rock. 38-3. Brown incomplete. Let's go to Kevin in the studio.
Tess updating you. Let's go to striking back. Jaden Daniels to a guy you brought up earlier in the broadcast, Mason Taylor. LSU right now up by 3, less than 2 minutes ago on ESPN. Back to you.
And you're right. We brought him up earlier tonight because his father, the NFL Hall of Famer, is a quality control analyst, part of the staff for Mario Cristobal. And in a super cool moment you have to see, I want to show you what happened just moments ago as our handheld camera operator, Bert Richardson, walked up to Jason Taylor and said, your son just had the go-ahead touchdown in the final moments against Alabama. That is how Jason Taylor just found out, thanks to Bert.
That is awesome, man. I mean, so awesome. And obviously, it's probably killing him. He keeps looking up at the scoreboard like they're going to score a replay. Oh, my goodness.
So you think Kevin Nagandi gives good updates. How about Bert Richardson?
I love it.
He gives it to Dad.
That was awesome.
Third down and 8 for Brown. Too high looking for Franklin. Well, Mason Taylor, who's the true freshman tight end for LSU, played just up the street at Plantation. Dad, one of the greatest ever play sport. And Cristobal's put together this A-plus group between his coordinators and his support staff. Alonzo Highsmith is what they call the GM of football operations as well.
It's an elite staff, and they're going to get it going. I have no doubt that they will get it going. It's just a matter of how quickly, because the Josh Heupels of the world have ruined it for everybody. If you're not winning a national championship or in the playoff hunt in year 2, and it's obviously not going the right direction, but lots to be excited about for Miami fans in the future.
You add on to those names, Ed Reed also involved. There he is. But moments ago, LSU, the go-ahead touchdown from this guy's son, Jason Taylor, the Hall of Famer, finding out from Bert Richardson, our camera operator, that make Florida State on top. Quickly out to Spann. It's nice to see him out there positively again after he was so upset on the sideline.
That's good coaching right there.
It is.
Like, you go calm him down, and then you say, hey, man, like, we need you. Like, there's still time on the clock. Guess what? First offensive play, what do? You design that has a high likelihood of going to Deuce Spann. That's how you get him. Hey, calm him down, bring him back to earth, and then get him involved again and restart his engine and being a contributor in the game. That's excellent job there by the coaching staff.
Rodemaker going to keep it himself and gets a good gainer out past midfield. Reminder, next week, Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One will be number 7 TCU taking on Texas. That's going to start 7:30 Eastern on ABC. That is a good matchup.
It's a really good matchup. Usually, TCU is the underdog in that game, and they come out, and Max Duggan is the Longhorn Slayer. He's beat him twice. And that was when TCU wasn't good. Now, the shoe's on the other foot. Texas will be the underdog at home against the undefeated 9-0 TCU Horned Frogs, who should get a significant boost up with Clemson falling flat on their face today.
Clemson was held scoreless. C.J. Campbell with the carry until the fourth quarter. They got a couple oh-by-the-way touchdowns at Notre Dame. You heard so many strong reactions to Clemson and their ranking at number 4 this week of people saying, how, why, the eye test. And now I think there are a lot of people across the country saying, okay, we don't have to worry about Clemson any longer.
Yeah, the ACC's done.
ACC is done.
And the only way, I mean, North Carolina had a chance, but they had to beat an undefeated Clemson in the ACC championship game. But
they just don't have that big win, that signature win, and now there won't be one. Campbell on 2nd and 9, and Campbell's running free, and he's down to the 31-yard line. Another first down for Florida State. Over 220 rushing yards for Florida State tonight.
Nice job there. And they've been running the heck out of some counter all night long. I mean, it's, golly, they're just wearing out that front, bringing guys from the backside, getting favorable numbers, creating extra gaps. I mean, this is a beast of a run game to try to defend.
Campbell again inside the 30-yard line. You look at down the stretch of Florida State. I mean, at Syracuse, things have now taken a different course for Syracuse after a strong start to the season. Home against Louisville, hosting Florida. This could be a special year for Florida State.
I mean, you finished 9-3, and think about the games that you had on your racket. I mean, NC State being the best example. I mean, I think they will beat Syracuse. They should beat Syracuse next week. They're better than Syracuse, and they should handle Florida, who's got a lot of issues on defense, but pretty good offensively. They finished 9-3 with a chance to win 10 in the bowl game. That's a heck of a leap.
With the losses being against all ranked teams, one came down to the last moment. But think about the road that's been. You go back to 2013. Obviously, that's the high water mark of recent Florida State. That's national title. That's Jameis winning the Heisman. But the end of the Jimbo years takes off in 2017 to go take the big cash at College Station. And then the 4 straight losing seasons and the wheels spinning. But incrementally, and Mike Norvell said, listen, we are doing this the right way with accountability, with sustained leadership, with growth and development, and it's really showing up. 3rd and 7, Rodemaker as he goes to Campbell out of the backfield, who was driven out of bounds by Williams.
But now people are starting to recognize, too. I mean, think about how active they were in the portal. I mean, you go out, you have one of the worst wide receiver cores in the ACC. You go out, you get Johnny Wilson, you get Micah Pittman, you get Deuce Spann. You have a big, big, big hole at the end of the line of scrimmage. You go out, you get Jared Verse. Like, people are starting to recognize, man, this is a special place. And there are some great players that have come and have worn the garnet and gold in the last 2 decades. And I want to be a part of that. I want to help revive that. And when you're selling hope, and now you're not selling hope anymore, you're selling results in addition to hope, it's a recipe for a lot of success to come.
They convert the 4th and 4. And as Rodemaker goes to Courtney.
They're going to have some pieces to replace up front along the offensive line. Emmanuel's a senior. Jazz Turntime, who missed tonight's game, he's a senior. Gibbons, he's a senior, but They have a lot of pieces back in other positions, and obviously Travis with another year of eligibility, they could be one of the favorites in the ACC next year if they continue to make moves in the portal.
Campbell got hit from Williams from behind. The flag comes raining in.
Personal foul, targeting, number 0, defense. After the distance of the goal, penalty, first down.
And they're calling James Williams for targeting at the end of that play.
How? I mean, unless it was crown of the helmet, it's not targeting. It's not a defensive player. But no, that's not crown of the helmet. I mean, that looks like initiated with the shoulder.
Well, we'll talk about that when we return. Cards.
It's awesome.
It's a nice collection, isn't it?
Offside, defense, number 92, jumped in the neutral zone, caused a reaction by the right guard. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, we questioned that targeting earlier. This is the targeting that wasn't. They didn't take long to say, no, that's not targeting.
It took them about 5 seconds to realize that wasn't targeting. It was a big collision. James Williams is a big dude, but no contact initiated with the crown of the helmet. There, very obvious to see that it wasn't a flag.
Campbell takes it inside the 10. Final 2.5 minutes here of an absolute beatdown blowout in a rivalry game. Haven't checked in on Alabama and LSU. I'm sure that's a snore right now. It's only 24-24 in overtime in Baton Rouge in what will be one of the signature games of the season. Charlie Strong flanking Mario Cristobal. Jordan Travis, all smiles tonight. Good reason. 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. This is a 3rd down with Campbell on the run. And Campbell will have a 1st and goal for Florida State. Another reminder that TCU and Texas in just a great game in the Big 12 coming your way on Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One next week, and coverage will begin at 7:30 right here on ABC. Jordan Travis, who grew up inspired by his older brother, who was a baseball player at Florida State, began his career at Louisville. Wasn't happy how things were fitting there, transferred to Florida State. Had to deal with coaching changes, a little bit of turmoil, really wondering if he even wanted to continue playing football. But the new staff believed in him, gave him the opportunity, and it has paid off as Campbell goes ahead for a touchdown for this score to get even more lopsided.
Driving effort there to reach across by Campbell.
Jordan Travis, and about an hour and a half up the road, went to the Benjamin School, West Palm Beach, Florida. Nothing like a 4th quarter 12-play drive that goes over 7 minutes straight ahead into the heart of your rival's defense. You think about the largest wins in series history as Florida State has put it to Miami tonight. There it is, 2022. Sitting there, 47 is the all-timer by both teams. And then 2 years ago, Mike Norvell wasn't here for that game when Miami beat him 52-20. De'Ara King threw a couple touchdown passes, but Mike Norvell tested positive for COVID, so he had to stay under quarantine in Tallahassee.
Can't imagine how painful that must have been to be totally helpless, and obviously watching your team just get completely beaten down. But what a difference it makes here over the last couple of years, and where Miami program is and where Florida State's program has gotten. I mean, night and day difference.
This is Smith from the end zone. He's tripped up out at the 14-yard line. We were with Florida State at the beginning of last year, that opener against Notre Dame, the beginning of this year, LSU. But where have you seen the most growth?
I've actually done 4 straight week 1 games
Have
against
you really?
Florida State. Yeah, dating back
with that.
all the way back to the Boise State game that they all want to forget. But I've seen this program at its lowest point, I feel like, in some ways. That Boise State game was a good example of that. And then even in 2020, what they did against Georgia Tech, and then to see where they're at now, and to see just how much better their personnel is, to see how clearly established the identity of the program is, and to see, too, just how Mike Norvell has really figured out a way to reach the players and improve the roster. Because so many people are wondering, all right, well, how is he from Memphis? We know he can draw up plays. We know he can score points. But how will he recruit? And clearly, this year is probably the best example with how he recruited guys from other places like Jared Verse and like the receivers that they've added, and of course Trey Benson and others. So I think that is an indicator, plus the success now that they're going to have amongst the high school talent as well. Very, very bright time right now, I think, here in the future for Florida State.
Speaking of the future, Ja'Kurri Brown showing you that arm downfield, at least willing to take a shot, and he is picked off. And that is Thomas with the interception. A true freshman from Florida. Stayed in state to play for the Noles. Zaire Thomas with the interception of Ja'Kurri Brown.
And just a perfect play. High point, and Thomas reels it in as Jordan Travis waves goodbye to maybe his fans, because they're about the only ones left here at Hard Rock Stadium.
Something about a rivalry game. You don't care about a blowout win. Just for Mike and that staff. They sensed it this week when we were with them, that things are heading in the right direction. The largest road win in series history. 42-point margin. Florida State thumps Miami 45-3. Jordan Travis with 3 touchdown passes. Trey Benson was sensational with 128 yards rushing and 2 touchdown runs. Wilson opened up the game with the 56-yard touchdown catch, and it was all Noles all night. Let's go down to Katie.